So along the lines of boycotts, the idea that you're going to turn this thing around, this attorney says the precedent is set nationally that if you sue as a gambler or a fan, you don't have a chance to win.
Yeah.
They generally get thrown out because courts have held that the plaintiffs don't have standing to sue. In this particular framework, the promoter is the fighter. All of a sudden, Tyson, it's magically healthy enough to fight, looking like a shell of himself compared to his training videos. So you bought into the farce. That's
it's true.
look, you're fine. You're a sucker.
Yes.
You put your money up on this thing. Now, if you were betting Jake Paul, you're naturally happy, thinking, "Wow, this was the easiest money I ever made." But I mean, the indicator should have been that the guy was being carried out of a plane on a stretcher for some kind of bizarre attack of an ulcer 2 fucking months ago. And instead, we're looking at these training videos and going, "Hey, it looks pretty sharp to me. I wouldn't want to get in there with him."
Yeah, he's punching that bag. I always love when they punch the bag and everyone gets excited. It's like
You may as well have gone to some bar where they have that thing where they measure the might
yes,
of
where you punch it one time. Ooh.
$5 in there and going, "Whoa, look at that, a 700. This guy's fucking tough. I wouldn't want to meet him."
Like, look, it's again. You watch. There's nothing wrong with. I'm not mocking people who watch it. I don't care. It was free on Netflix. You have
I mean,
Netflix,
to watch it, it's entertainment. Some form.
I don't judge people for what they watch, but to then bet on it and then be mad that you bet on it.
You motherfuckers, you ripped me off.
What are you doing?
The time. Wake up with Defo, joined by Lubie. Welcome to the Defo Show.
It's kind of like betting Gorilla Monsoon versus San Martino. The outcome has already been preordained. Hey, good morning, everybody. Just a couple of days away here from Thanksgiving, and you can kind of feel it in the air, can you not, Lubie? The holiday spirit.
Yes, sir.
Was at a little party last night, and I have to say, Lubie, you have made an indelible impression upon the South Florida sports fans. You really have. No, because I was at Stingers, where the Mustang used to work, of course, and Dave B was celebrating his umpteenth 40th birthday party. So I haven't been frequenting Stingers all that often. No, we used to go there quite a bit after those tiki bar shows. Always got in there and had a meat lover's pizza, which was outstanding back in the day, and enjoyed the fact that the prices were extremely reasonable in this particular establishment. And so I like going back there, and you see, I mean, the regulars are still the regulars. The people that were in there 15 years ago when we were doing this thing are still there, coming around for the Dave B celebration. And I can't tell you if it was one, it was at least three, Lubie, people that asked me. I didn't talk to that many people, but it was at least three people that asked about how you're doing, and am I still working with that guy?
Well, there you go. Made a great impression. That guy.
It's all right. I mean, it's recognition, Lubie. It really is. I mean, people, it's one of those things where they may not have referred to you immediately as Lubie, but as soon as I said, "Oh, you mean Lubie?" They would go, "Yeah, Lubie."
Yeah.
People love you, Lubie. It's amazing.
love
It's incredible. And there was always a mixed bag of opinion about what your relative merit was on the show. The people loved you, and the people in management despised you. I don't know. Grace Blazer, she wasn't that anti-Lubie.
She was fine. Yeah, she was fine.
She was okay. Yeah, she tried to encourage you to do more things.
Although
she would never actually let you take that job that you really deserved, which was to do the sports updates on both.
What's funny is after the show was done, she let me do the updates. And I go, now I can do the updates when we don't have a show.
And now that we're blown out and nobody knows who the fuck we are anymore in this station. That's great. But no, there was some. I always enjoy Lubie recognition. It makes me feel good about things, and it makes me feel good about your future, Lubie. Because I'm approaching the end of the road here. I'm 73 years old. Jesus Christ, how much longer? What do I have? Do I have 10 more Thanksgivings, Lubie? I keep thinking about this.
You're more than that. I think
20. Can I do 20?
Yes, I think you can do 20. Longevity is in your genes.
In the family. It's true.
You've made concerted efforts to eat better and be healthier, and you drink less. Yes, I don't see why not.
I feel pretty good. I actually made my return to the tennis courts last night after a 7-month layoff.
Oh shit!
The entirety of the 7 months was not necessary. It's just that I couldn't arrange a game, and I was too lazy to do it because it is really weird. I mean, once you fall out of the habit of doing something, even if it's something that you really enjoy and it's very good for you, it's hard to get it back. It
Yep.
really is. And the longer the layoffs as you are aging, this is one of the negativities of the aging process. The longer the layoff, especially in sporting activity, the more unlikely it is that you're ever going to regain any semblance of form.
Yep.
And now I was never a great tennis player by any stretch of the imagination. A very average hacker at best. Maybe capable of beating really weak opponents, but anybody that had any semblance of real tennis form was going to knock the shit out of me every time I played. I might be able to hang in there and look good hitting balls against somebody that was very good for a period of time, but in actual competition, it wasn't happening. You're going to lose 6-1, 6-0, and you only get the one because the other guy decided to use his first serve the entire time, double faulted away a game. And it's 4 in a row, man. Kind of crazy, but it felt good, and it wasn't that foreign to me, Luby. I actually was hitting the ball with a little bit of
Nice.
I don't know about you would call it precision, but it felt good. So yeah, that's something you definitely have to pick up again. But the clumsiness, the awkwardness, I mean, the slightest bit of movement, Luby, was definitely a foreign concept as of last night. The good news is I was playing my man, Dr. Jerry, also 73 years old, and with knees that probably would make Jim Otto feel good. If he had, I remember Jim Otto, he had like 800 operations before anybody knew anything about how to do knee operations. They didn't have arthroscopic or any of this other stuff where you come back 3 days later from torn ligaments. Wow, I mean, that guy was the epitome of the crippled up ex NFL player. Checked out, I want to say, did Jim Otto die like 10 years ago? I'm not sure. You're familiar with Jim Otto?
Well,
Raiders center, Hall of Fame
he was a
Raiders center.
tremendous center. Yeah.
He was great. Well, he has to be in the Hall of Fame, does he not? Jim Otto?
Otto's a Hall of Fame. Yes.
Okay. All right. Very good. Did we ever talk to him? No, I don't think we ever saw him. He would have been in
Oh,
the
you
league.
nailed it. He died May 2024, so like a year and a half ago.
Oh, that's all? Okay. I thought it was like 10 years ago.
Oh no, a year and a half ago he passed.
Okay. Well, Dr. Jerry's knees, if you could examine them, they probably Jim Otto was healthy. So that was the advantage that I had last night. But we weren't really doing too much running, and it was good. It was good to get back there. But don't ever lose this, people. You want to stay healthy, and the longevity is definitely a concern at this point because that would suck, wouldn't it? To only have like 10 more Thanksgivings, Libby, if that. If that, that's a startling realization. So all we can say is enjoy every day, people. Now, here's the thing. These are the best things that I heard over the last 24 hours, Libby. Are you ready for this?
Ready.
Danny Hurley crying about officials
Yeah,
after
what,
losing to Memphis in the Maui Classic opening round.
what
The
happened there?
fuck?
The whole world was. I thought the professor leaked into the planet because all I heard was people making fun of Danny Hurley
Oh my
and
God.
losing his
Guy was out
mind.
of control.
And I was like,
You probably saw the clip of him complaining about this over the back
yes.
call, which was an over the back. I'm sorry. Having played basketball, loved basketball my entire life, it was as simple as I got it. Because the guy came
Yeah,
flying over
yeah,
the
yeah.
back of a Memphis player and got a tap in that or a rebound offensive board that would have been significant at the time. The game ended up in overtime, 99-97, as Memphis knocked off the number 2 team in the country. It's one of the great things about college basketball, beginning of the season. Especially love these tournaments. There were other games last night in the Maui Invitational, I think involving North Carolina, a couple of other heavyweights in the college game. And they turned out to be classics. This was the opening round of the tournament, man. I mean, people should be sucking on a drink out of a pineapple, and instead they're getting this thriller in Manila type of action on the hardwood, including this overtime upset by Memphis, who I don't know that. I mean, there's always a stat out there, Luby. It's amazing. Is it all from the Elias Sports Bureau, these stats? Where, well, that's the first time since 1776 that an unranked team has knocked off the number 2 team when they've played less than 5 games. They always have these quantifying and qualifying statistics, but nonetheless, it was a monumental upset. Hurley, though, was an embarrassment, ripping the officials, and especially on that one particular call, which maybe there were other calls. I didn't see the game, just saw the highlights, but maybe there were other calls earlier. There was a technical called on the trainer of the University of Connecticut. Technical on the trainer. I don't know what he said, but it obviously struck a nerve with the officials who were just unceremoniously humiliated after the game by Danny Hurley as well. So That was interesting. So that was great hearing this guy cry because I'm actually a Danny Hurley fan. A lot of people don't like the guy. They don't like his style. They think it's a little bit abrasive and over the top. He seems like a really decent guy once you sort of take him out of that environment. Highly competitive family, as we know. Bobby Hurley is coaching what? Arizona State? Bobby Hurley, his brother?
Yeah.
Danny Hurley was offered the Lakers job, decided to come back to UConn for $1 zillion. Seems to be a perfect fit there. I'm not sure. Do you lose something when, unless you're really successful in the pros, do you become somewhat nondescript as a head coach? There are certain head coaches that make a big difference, but a lot of it's just a revolving door. Hell, look at even Doc Rivers. The Bucks in town tonight to take on the Miami Heat. Is that a home game for the Heat tonight?
Oh, is it here?
Yeah. The Heat are home tonight against the Milwaukee Bucks. Kind of interesting as the Bucks, after an horrendous start, have started to come around a little bit. The Bucks come into this game at 8-9. What were they early in the year? Were they like 2-6 or something? I don't know. They were well under
They
500.
were like 4-8 or something. I mean, they've won a few games in a row with some loss.
Yeah, Antetokounmpo seemed disgruntled, and there was a comment. You would be the first to bring this up, and you were, I believe, to suggest to Ethan Skolnick that, hey, what about Giannis coming here?
Oh, people were rumoring him. I didn't come up with it, but I was very quick to jump on it.
Well, what is the obsession with Damian Lillard? Is he really that great at this point in time, or did he spend his best years wasting them in Portland?
100%. He's a shell of himself now.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like, I mean, it's not like he's Donovan Mitchell or some of these other guys that are Anthony Edwards, capable of dominating games. He's a nice. I hate to use this terminology, Lubie, because it used to refer to. It was a derogatory way of referring to women. A nice piece, huh?
At this point,
We're not talking piece of ass here, though. We're talking piece of a composition of a team.
Look, he's played better lately. I don't know how. Like the last game he played, he had 31. So he's been what Giannis needed.
Seems to be finding a little bit of synchronization.
I just don't know if you're going to get what you got out of. Like he led the league in scoring when his last year with the Blazers. Like I don't know if you're getting that out of Damian Lillard at this point in his career.
All right, so the first thing I heard that was very, very unusual and very entertaining was the screaming of Danny Hurley about officiating, and that led us into the fact that the Heat, favored by what? Are they favored by a couple of points tonight, Lubie? 1 and a hook. Would you be willing to play 1 and a hook?
I'm saying the Heat favored by 2 and a hook here.
Oh, 2 and a hook. Okay, maybe it went up because people looked at that 1 and a hook and said, "Yeah, I'll lay that."
I guess.
No problem. All right, and now I'm reading a column. Now, I didn't actually hear this, but you could consider it that as a figure of speech. But Michael Calabrese of Action Sports.
Okay.
What do you think of this one, Lubie? Writes a very convincing. I mean, there are certainly some vagaries there that he even concedes in terms of the chances of this actually happening. But the odds on it are 200 to 1, Louis. Would you play into a 200 to 1 proposition that South Carolina wins the football national championship, college football national championship?
I'm going to be in the playoff.
They're 250 plus 250 to make the playoffs.
How can they even? Like,
well, I mean, there's a reason they're 200 to 1 because.
Well, I guess
they're not.
They play Clemson, so if they can beat Clemson,
they play Clemson on the road.
Top 20 win. They've actually played really well recently.
Two of their losses were to good teams by a very slim margin.
And you already have some of the SEC teams with 3 losses. I guess if the rest of them get to 3 losses, like Texas plays A&M. So if you get A&M to another loss and you get, oh man, I mean, I guess between Texas, Georgia, and Tennessee, I don't know if they're all going to get 3 losses. Like, so
they beat Texas A&M. They've beaten Missouri, CFP ranked teams.
No, but these like
two of their 3 losses were I guess decided on the final plays of games, missed field goals, things like that, to LSU and Alabama. So LSU and Alabama certainly have fallen out of the spotlight, especially Alabama after this embarrassing outright loss that they suffered last week. But 200 to 1, Libby, there's a reason you're getting 200 to 1 because it's a reach.
Yeah, it's just because like this week, Tennessee, I don't think they play anyone. I mean, I get it. We've seen like Vandy's been game, so I guess if Tennessee gets that 3rd loss, And Georgia Tech's not horrible, because that's what they would need. They would need the other SEC teams to have a third loss
To
to
make
then
it
make
into
them
the
on the same
postseason.
level. And lately, yes, they played better football than Tennessee and Georgia. But
Been
right
pretty good.
now, I just don't see both getting because again, the SEC I don't see how they don't get a fourth team. Like I just don't see it. Sarni's convinced himself they're getting three. It's not happening. Like they were trying to get a fifth fucking team in. They're going to get 4 teams in. They have like 6 teams with 3 losses. Like one of those teams is going to get that 4th spot. You're not getting 2 ACC teams in. Like none of them are fucking ranked. You have like 2 ACC teams ranked. Like you're not getting 2 ACC teams in, especially if Miami does a Miami where they either lose to Syracuse or they get the conference championship and lose to SMU. A 2-loss Miami team with the schedule they played is not getting to the playoff. Like so I don't know that he's out of his mind with that. You're getting a 4th SEC team in. It's happening. So I guess if everyone has 3 losses, like
They have a shot. I mean, you're getting
well
over 3-1.
Teams.
Yeah, 5-2.
I just find it hard to believe that they're going to put a South Carolina 3-loss team in over Alabama 3-loss team. Like I find that hard to believe.
If you were willing to go ahead and figure that you're getting a decent price at 5-2 that they make it to the postseason, and then 200-1 that they win the championship, and the guy's whole argument was that you want to put yourself, and you'll love this, Lubie, because this is what we talk about 90% of the time we address any gambling issue.
Yeah.
You put yourself in a position that if they win one game, you're in a position to hedge off a 200-1 proposition.
Well, yeah, because they're not winning at all. Like they played fine. They played as well as any of the SEC teams. I give that because they've all been sort of middle of the road the last month. But I don't see them going through the gambit. Like they're not going to beat an Oregon. They're not going to beat fucking Ohio State. Like in an actual play, and then back to back. Like you'd have to win like 3 of those games. Like yes. I don't see them winning 3 of those games. So you're right. That's what he's saying. Just get them in, and then you can hedge.
Get them in. Well, I guess he was considering hedging after they would have to win a game probably for you to be able to take advantage of hedging. Now, naturally, if you thought that they were going to make the tournament, maybe that would be the bet, and maybe this guy should have stopped there before he started doing blotter acid. And, all right, so you're saying fuck that. This guy's out of his mind.
At all. No,
all right.
At all.
All right, so that's 2 best things that I heard from yesterday. Danny Hurley crying about officials. This guy Mike Calabrese making a case of 200-1 for South Carolina, and this is the best of the best. We saved the best for the end, Libby.
Okay.
Who are the Jets turning to help them ignite their search for a new head coach and general manager?
Oh, shut up!
Jets.
Don't say it. Is it Mike Tannenbaum? Shut up! You're such a liar.
There you go.
You're such a liar. You're so full of shit. Get the fuck out of here.
Bank the gavel, man. I rest my case. They consider, and this is interesting because we interview Jason Cole all the time, and his new gig is with the 33rd Team, which is a website that
Tannenbaum's a founder.
Tannenbaum founded this thing in 2019. See, I keep thinking that was a Peter King thing because Peter King,
no, that was Monday Morning Quarterback,
was always doing stuff like that. So I thought maybe he did an extrapolation there and decided, hey, okay, never mind Monday Morning Quarterback, sold the thing and the naming rights to it, made a fortune, and then just started a new thing, which is the way to go if you're someone entrepreneurial in the media business.
Yeah.
And so every time we talk to Jason Cole, and we always wonder, what the fuck is that, the 33rd Team? Have you ever logged on to the 33rd Team for any reason?
I watched stuff. I've read stuff that Cole has posted.
Okay.
That was there, so it took me there. So yes, I was there for that. I never just let me go. I don't ever go to website. I don't think to go to websites. And
me either. I never do this.
I'm on social media and everyone that's on a website's on social media, and I see it there. That's where I see stuff.
I'm just not. I don't. Maybe it's because I'm still getting the fucking newspaper, Lubie. But I just it's not my thing to click on these kind of websites and read detailed minutia in terms of analysis and dissection of what's going on a pro football field. Because I just rather watch the game and make my own deductions about what the hell was happening out there, including last night's game with Baltimore and the LA Rams. That was a lot of fun. The Harbaugh Bowl, 30-23. The Ravens coming back from 10-0 down to not only win the game, but easily eclipse, Lubie, the 2.5 points I was laying to Francesco. In this case, making a brilliant comeback as he absolutely got wiped on NFL games this weekend. But Mike Tannenbaum started this 33rd Team. Apparently, it's so well respected by people in the NFL industry and inside the league that it's not the first time that teams have gone ahead and sought their advice. Rick Spielman is also a part of this. Now, Rick Spielman, as a Dolphin general manager, was one of the biggest busts in the position in the history of sports.
He was good with the Vikings. He
With the
gets
Vikings,
a lot of
became
credit for
executive
him.
of the year, which leads you to another.
He drafted Adrian Peterson. He was smart enough to draft a top 5 out of college running back ever, and in an era where we still value the running back. And he went on to be Adrian Peterson, who he already was, and he got a lot of credit for that. He rode the
Well, maybe
ADP's
the
coattails.
era of the dominant running back is sort of being reinfused into the thinking of people in the NFL. Because I mean, look what's happening here. Saquon Barkley has turned
Yeah.
around the Philadelphia Eagles.
He and Derrick Henry are probably
Derrick Henry, same
MVP
thing.
favorites. They're
Yeah.
co-MVP favorites, and then you have Joshua Jacobs with the Packers, who is Jordan Love's not playing great football. It's their defense and Josh Jacobs is why the Packers have gotten into a nice rhythm.
Yeah, who's the guy with Arizona? Is it Connor? Is that his name?
James Conner, he was with the Steelers, and now he's with them.
Connor,
He's good
when
back.
Arizona got on a little bit of a run there, I mean, they've sort of come back to the pack a little bit since, but when they got on a little bit of a run, it was all Connor. I mean, people were looking at Kyler Murray, certainly, very electrifying athletic performer when he's on his game, but Connor was the guy that was really carrying him. And if you look at last night's game, and of course the Sunday night game with the Philadelphia Eagles, my God, it was like Jim Brown came back from the grave, isn't it? You're looking at dominating power running backs. Barkley not as much exclusively relying on the power. How about Derrick Henry too? Is he fun to watch there with those? They don't even bother calling hands to the face when Derrick Henry does that stiff arm, because he seems to aim straight for the face mask. Derrick Henry, have you ever seen him called for hands to the face? Derrick Henry on those stiff arms, Lubie? Never.
No, I never understand what you do with that with a running back, because the running back is a lot more aggressive with it than the defender is, but they never, because they don't just the push. I get it, but they'll grab it and they'll shake and they'll throw.
I mean, he smacks two guys in the face as if it was Larry Holmes throwing a jab, and knocks two guys over on his way to a first down. I mean, that's a lot of fun to watch if you like that kind of football. And Henry's certainly a classic exhibition of that. But Mike Tannenbaum, who was like infusing your organization with embalming fluid, buried the New York Jets. The Jets maybe are thinking back and asking themselves, how is it possible that since his departure, they have yet to make a playoff appearance? Not one. They've had, I think they're on their third, or just we're on their third general manager, and several coaches they've tried in this spot, and they haven't made a playoff appearance since Tannenbaum's departure, where of course he had Mark Sanchez handing the ball off, and somehow through a lot of bizarre circumstances and unfathomable losses by the Indianapolis Colts, somehow found his way, and with his team, the Jets, into 2 AFC championship games with Rex Ryan, who now is screaming that he wants to come back and coach the Jets.
Oh, yeah? Oh, is that? Oh, I thought Brian was joking. Oh, geez. Okay.
No.
He doesn't coach at all.
Rex wants back in.
When was the last time he coached? Is it a decade? When was the last time Rex Ryan coached?
Last team was the Bills, right? He was with the
while.
Bills. I thought that was going to be a good move by the Bills. I like Rex Ryan.
He's a fine coach.
He can coach. I think he's a good coach. No,
it's been a long time.
Yeah, he was Dan Campbell-esque before Campbell.
8 years.
Yeah, been a while. Who has a better chance of coming back, Rex or Bill Cowher? Because Bill Cowher is always the source of speculation anytime a job opens up. Oh, yeah, well, they ought to get Cowher.
It's been like 15 years since Cowher. I think Cowher's done.
Cowher's just babbling away like I am on those pregame shows. Does Cowher ever say anything that you go, wow, that's a good point, Bill?
No, never.
Nothing.
Not one.
Generalities, cliches, vagaries, all of this.
He's at 18 years.
He's not
going to be coaching again. Rex Ryan, yes, he is a foot fetish guy. I could see Rex Ryan coaching again. I just don't. It's been 8 years. Like, why would he not have gotten in the ring more recent than that?
Why did he fall so much out of favor as a possibility as a head coach?
I thought he chose. I know the Bills thing didn't go well, but he could have gone back in the game as a defensive coordinator and
worked his way back in the head spot. Sure,
he chose to do media, and he's been good at media, and
very
he's done that for 8 years
of anyone I've ever seen. No, Rex Ryan's teeth, same dentist as Secretariat, as we like to say. I mean, now those are the biggest ass teeth I've ever seen. Great. And enjoyable as a commentator because he'll say something and he's kind of demonstrative about it and seems to be passionate. And I don't know if after the show he just turns to the other guys, Orlovsky and company, and says, "What a bunch of bullshit that was." Actually mean what he's saying. One of the rarities anymore in sports media. All right, so Tannenbaum is going to be the advisor along with the 33rd team to the Jets search, further dooming the Jets into perpetuity as, or at least extending their period of futility. As Mike Tannenbaum buried the Jets. I mean, after a couple of years of success, they completely fell apart at the seams.
Yep.
And then the Dolphins, it was a disaster, you would have to say.
Bad. No bad.
Absolute disaster. He took what was potentially a decent situation,
Yes.
completely discombobulated it, and they've been in recovery mode ever since, including now when they come in at 5-6. Have you ever seen more excitement about a 5-6 record, Lubie, in this town?
They've won 3 in a row, so that's where people are focusing, not the actual record.
And since Tua's return, 4 straight games where they've looked pretty good.
Yeah, they should have won. Exactly. That other game they should have won if the defense did fucking anything versus the Cardinals.
Yeah, that was rough.
They would have beaten the Cardinals.
So, other than this unlikely 61-yard field goal by Tyler Bass, who was a missed kick waiting to happen, they then went on and subsequently won 3 in a row. So, and could have had a win in Buffalo. But coulda, woulda, shoulda. That's the old Dave Feldman thing. Great writer for the Chicago Sun-Times. But yes, still, as you look at this Thanksgiving Day game, of the 3 games, does it not figure to be the most compelling of them all? It appears to be, on the surface, the most evenly matched. Although the point spread in the Cowboys game, those are 2 dreadful teams that are going nowhere. So in the Dolphins game, still in the hunt. They're listed as in the hunt for a playoff spot.
Yeah, they're a game and a half.
If they win this game against Green Bay, well, then who knows? At that point, you're on a 4-game winning streak. You're 6-6 with 5 games left to go, and still a possibility of winning as many as 11, and maybe more likely 10. Is 9-8 a record though that anybody should strive to achieve? 9-8 seems like a really suck-ass record, doesn't it?
Well, especially since they had like the same record 2 years in a row with Flores. They got up to 10 wins last year to go back to 9-8. Yes, you do the in season where they were to get to 9-8. I get it, but 9-8's 9-8. Yeah, no, and I don't know if it's going to make the playoffs in the AFC. Like it's a log jam right around 7-8 wins right now. Like I don't know if 9-8's going to, like the Broncos. Like a lot of teams have to fall off a fucking cliff to get to 9-8. So I don't know if 9-8's going to do it.
You wouldn't have thought that this team would be one that, if they somehow rally to that level and even finish 9-8, which still requires that they would have to win Thursday in Green Bay, not an easy assignment, and then go 3-2 the rest of the way. And I'm assuming, I don't know why, I'm assuming that their schedule.
They play the Jets twice.
Left with the Jets?
They play the Jets twice.
They must have somebody decent left on the schedule.
Yeah, they play that. Well, here's the deal. It's what was supposed to be decent, and the Texans, and I think some at the end of the year that was really good. Oh, the Niners. They still play the Texans and the Niners, but the Niners are a fucking
Niners are a mess right now.
Unit.
Yes.
So that and it has affected them. They got drilled by the Packers, and it wasn't the Packers. It was the Niners are totally bereft of talent right now. Especially since they don't have their left tackle in Williams, and that's the guy that Jason Cole always said is the one that really matters. And they don't
have their quarterback, sure.
And who knows when he's going to be back. And the Texans have struggled. CJ Stroud, it's why people like me were like, yeah, stop calling him a top 10 quarterback. He was a rookie. He had a really good year for a rookie, but he was a fucking rookie. Like, he's a second-year guy. Teams have had a year of film on him. They had an offseason of film on him, and he's okay. I think he's a good quarterback. But I think he's somewhere in the middle between what he's doing now and what he did last year. So that's the thing. The 2 games that were supposedly, the tough ones, they're not. Like, those are both the Packers is a tough game, especially in Lambeau, fucking Thanksgiving. It'll probably magically be a goddamn snowstorm. So good luck to Tua getting the ball out quickly in rhythm in the fucking snow. That's the game that's tough. But the Niners
This is such a huge swing game in the season, is it not? I mean, it's interesting because it's going to be the finale on Thanksgiving. You're going to be absolutely stuffed to the gills. Watching, what will you be gargling with Visine by then? Would you have watched every minute of the other two games? Probably not.
No, the Cowboys and Giants is going to be dreadful.
Cowboys and Giants, but it's the beginning of the football day in terms of pro football. I guess there's one college game on the slate. Why do they bother putting one college game on there?
I don't know.
There are people that just are boycotting the NFL and are actually sticking to it.
Maybe.
The Tulane-Memphis game.
Well, Tulane's good. Tulane's undefeated. They're one of those teams that's vying for that G5 playoff spot.
Tulane and Memphis are doing battle, and you have a choice of watching that or what on paper is a direct matchup between the Cowboys and the Giants. I'm still thinking you're watching the Cowboys and the Giants, no? Even if that game turned out to be one of the barn burners of all time, Tulane and Memphis. What I wonder, are they going against an NFL game? They would have to be, wouldn't they? Sure, because the NFL's on all day.
All day, yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, yeah. I mean, I would think by the time you get to this Dolphin Green Bay, that is a great matchup for the people here in South Florida because
that's going against the Dolphins game. It's at 7:30 actually, so you're definitely not watching that game. The Dolphins Packers, unless it's a fucking disaster.
Attractive matchup, isn't it?
That's the best game of the day. Actual game. The Bears Lions like 3 weeks ago would have been, but the Bears have become what the Bears should have been all along, and the Lions are fucking maybe the best team of football right now.
Lions scoring. I mean, they were held to 20 points in this last game against the Colts.
They won.
And they won by 2 touchdowns also. So,
yes.
Yeah, you can't disparage that level of victory, but we're accustomed to seeing them put 40 and 50 up on the board. And Dan Campbell's not afraid to go Gino Auriemma and just go ahead and do it. All right, we're going to come back with more. Those are the 3 best things that I heard, though, yesterday. What did you think of that lineup? The most incredible of them all, though, almost like having Matt Gaetz be nominated for Attorney General, would be consulting Mike Tannenbaum to try and fix a franchise that he personally had a large hand in ruining for the umpteenth time. It's not like the Jets, their last big game literally was 1969.
I mean, the conference...
Super Bowl III.
I mean, they did... You're not wrong because no one had them winning those conference championship games, but they got there.
Yeah.
More than the Dolphins
got there by, such fugazi means, it seemed.
Yes. The Colts took the last week off and were trying to get in gear, and they never got anything going versus a really good defense. And they found a way to keep Sanchez out of involvement.
Incredible. I mean, they were doing nothing. The offense was so suspect with Mark Sanchez.
Oh, it was horrendous.
Yeah, you were holding your breath the entire time, waiting for the big turnover. It's kind of like Jameis was that one year when he threw 40 picks or whatever that was.
100%.
All right, we're going to come back with more here in a moment as we head towards Turkey Day. Jeff DeForest, Mike Lubitz with you here. And we'll be back with more in a moment. Now that.
The time.
It's 8:42. Champions, the outstanding simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant, and you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Brass Rail Bar or any of the fine food served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in style, and you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette, in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill in Plantation, because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup. All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers, Raw Bar, and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.
Are you looking to buy your first home? Have you been turned down for a loan? Do you need to refinance or get money out of your home? Call Michael Kodsey, CEO of Choice Mortgage. He's been helping the South Florida community get mortgages for 30 years.
Hi, this is Michael Kodsey, CEO of Choice Mortgage. We have the most competitive fixed rates in the market. Call me 24/7, 561-441-2730. And remember, I don't just work banking hours. To make the right choice for your home, call Choice Mortgage today.
To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing end them, to die, to sleep, no more, and by asleep to say we end the heartache and 1,000 natural shocks.
What could that have been about except
Gambling.
to hedge or not to hedge?
The modern day odd couple, Defo and Lubie, are on now. It is, of course, the Defo Show.
All right, for you degenerate sickos out there, I feel compelled and obligated to pass along this information. Comes from the polyman who has been getting picks from a guy he refers to as the football guy, Lubie.
Okay.
All right, he's been documenting these picks. He's been sending them to me every week. Of course, I haven't taken any advantage of this as the football. A remarkable, and this is the absolute pristine truth here, a remarkable 18-4 on the year against the spread. And he picks his games very sparingly. This is not a guy that's sending it in on 10 games a week. In fact, last week, in spite of being 18-4, imagine you're on a roll, Lubie, and you have the discipline to not bet at all. He picked no games last week. Nothing stood out to him. So he laid off. I mean, you're
So I should have 2 games.
Hey, I'm winning every race, man. I'll just throw 20 on this 13-1 shot and hope for the best here. You're just doing it to have some action. Nothing. Discipline, my friend. Holy Billy Walters. What are we talking about here? All right, so the football guy is 18-4, and I'm sorry, people, because this is the first mention we've made of the football guy on this show.
18-4. This year, he's 18-4 this year.
He's picking college and pro games.
With what the NFL and the college has been.
And think about it.
18-4.
Yes. And think about how sparingly he's making these selections.
He really
to win. This guy is out to win.
Okay.
Not just to fuck around, not to have a 16-team parlay for $5 and go, it was $5. Yeah, but you're getting buried, my friend. Buried every week. So he's 18-4 against the spread. Documented picks. And Polyman says he's in early this week with his selections, probably trying to take advantage of early lines, which at this point has already made a difference. So Thanksgiving, he likes the Dolphins. He had them at 3.5. I think that line has dropped to 3 now.
Okay.
So 3.5, big differential there in dodging the push.
Oh,
and then he also likes Arizona plus 4 points. Arizona plus 4 points. So what is that? The Cardinals, he figures they're going to bounce back off of this loss that they just suffered. Arizona.
Okay.
They're in tough here. Where are we with the Arizona?
They're the Niners. Niners are licking wounds right now. They're not supposed to be getting anyone back yet.
Okay. Well, that sounds reasonable, doesn't it?
That's why. Yeah, no, the way that, and I think Bosa was hurt too. And we know once Bosa's out, their defense sort of falls apart. And they don't have their quarterback and they don't have their left tackle. So McCaffrey is almost.
McCaffrey doesn't look the same.
He's useless. He had his injuries, but also without Trent Williams, that run game is non-existent. So, yes, the Cardinals have enough to expose that. And I guess that makes sense.
All right. 18-4 in the season, this guy. We're like we said, 11 weeks into the NFL season. So,
I mean, that's amazing.
And what, 13 weeks into the college season?
I mean, both have been utterly ridiculous. Again, everyone in the SEC has lost to an average to bad team. Like all the top teams in the SEC have one, if not 2, stupid ass losses. Alabama has 2. I mean, Vandy's actually better than they've been in the past, obviously. But for Alabama to lose to Vandy like that, like everyone has a bad loss. To be 18-4, and the NFL has been parity all over the god. Outside of maybe the Lions, and the Chiefs, I guess. But even against the spread, the Chiefs haven't been covering at all.
No. They've been bet against. So, well, they were covering earlier in the year, and then they started to really go into decline in that regard. All of their games are decided by a couple of points.
To be 18-4 on this football season, I would think you're lying. Like, that's fucking amazing.
It sounds made up, but he's been sending me these picks every week.
No, I believe it. I'm just saying.
You're like a douchebag with my finger in my ass. Getting my own stupidity instead. That's weak, huh? Football guy, a mystery man,
Good
another
for him.
mystery man that comes from the world of the polyman. But
Hey, good for him.
nonetheless, those are his selections. So I now feel compelled to pass those along. So
Yeah,
probably
man.
go 1-2 this week and drop to 18-6. Still a great record, but we felt like there was a moral obligation on the part of a guy that's on a streak like that and showing this kind of discipline with no picks last week, nothing. Didn't even bother to. Look, there's nothing better than post-race handicapping, is there, Louis?
Oh, well, duh.
After the race is over, you watch the tape. Yeah, watch this. I'm going to tell you the two's going to come on like gangbusters here. Okay, great. You already saw the race.
It's too bad.
Tell me something I don't know. But I did think that Tampa Bay was going to lay over the New York Giants with Tommy Cutlets at the helm. I didn't think he was going to fare very well. I mean, a tough spot for this guy also because he's been sitting on the bench as the third stringer. And I think it was suspect that he would even make the roster this year, Libby.
Yeah, I didn't know he was on the roster. I thought that was the whole thing after he had his big moment. What was it, last year or 2 years
Last
ago?
year, yeah, he did well. I mean, he closed out the season, quarterback in the New York Giants.
Like he came on like gangbusters, but then he fizzled out, and then you never heard his name again. So I figured he went off into oblivion somewhere.
He was more of a Rudy-esque type of story.
Yeah, because like he had one game or two games, and then after that, it fell apart fast. Like
yes. Because people, as you said, I mean, maybe that's happened with C.J. Stroud. The NFL, they get a read on you. By the way, has anybody bounced back better from a lousy year and looking completely overhyped and overrated than Vic Fangio, the defensive coordinator of the Philadelphia Eagles?
Their defenses come together.
Hello? We had this guy here. The defense sucked. Does that tell you something?
Didn't suck. The defense didn't suck. The defense took a long time to come together. By the end of the year, when you looked at rankings, like people like Dave Hyde, when we had Hyde on, he was defending Fangio because people like us were like, "What's wrong with this fucking defense? They have all this money into this defense." And guys weren't hurt. They actually got Chubb and Phillips to play for a while under Vic Fangio, and they didn't look dominant. But when you looked at their end of the season like placement, they were like top 10 overall in defense. So he actually did his job.
How good this guy is, because beginning of the year, after everybody was talking, well, you know what, the biggest offseason acquisition in the NFL was the Dolphins getting Vic Fangio to be the defensive coordinator. And you're like, oh, okay, that sounds I mean, a little over the top, but nonetheless, let's hope it's true. And then you saw the first 8 games at least.
Yes, so the first half of the season.
Who the fuck is this guy? And then abruptly, after showing this improvement, Lubie, he ends up just saying, he was gone like the minute the clock hadn't even expired all of the time yet. And he was already like turning in his resignation.
Well, the players didn't like that he was old school. I don't even know what that means. And McDaniel and him, again, McDaniel's very new school and he's very old school. They clashed.
Well, imagine those two in a meeting. Sure.
Yes, so it just
what is McDaniel saying? He's at the point now where he literally does need an interpreter, does he not? It's easier to understand Shohei Ohtani than it is Mike McDaniel, and McDaniel speaking English. And don't you get the feeling too that Shohei understands and is perfectly capable of speaking English at this stage in his career?
I mean, Ichiro was here 20 years.
Yeah.
And magically didn't. And you learn English in Japan and magically didn't know English. Yeah, of course, you know. Look, I get not being confident in speaking that language.
I don't begrudge anybody that, because I couldn't speak any other language with any. I mean, even after taking those wasted 3 years of taking French in high school, which except for the fact that the Miss Lone, the French teacher I had in the 11th grade, was just unbelievably smoking hot. So that kind of kept you interested in at least attending the class and not skipping out, playing basketball out in the outside courts. But I mean, if I had to give an interview and answer a question in French, could I understand a question? Maybe, vaguely, but would I want to answer back? No. Even when I was more in tune with the idea of actually trying to, as you're taking the courses. I don't know. You took Spanish, Louis?
I did 4 years of Spanish, and I've lived in South Florida my whole life. At one point, I was decent because I worked in the Sawgrass Mall, so I was using it a lot. So I spoke pretty good broken Spanish. Like I could have a conversation with people, but my grammar, I'm sure, was horrendous. And they would look at me like they were doing math on what I was trying to say.
Get a construction job. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm amazed. I mean, if they do this massive deportation of everybody, that
And
you're just going to go to buildings that are under construction in South Florida and round up everybody.
honestly, you're not gonna have any construction ever anywhere.
It's unreal, isn't it? I mean,
It's not practical at all. There's literally no practicality or rhyme or reason to it because it wouldn't make anything better. It doesn't solve any problem. It actually enhances every problem. Like inflation would go up, the job market would collapse, unemployment would break records. It would actually do nothing good except for make racists happy.
yeah.
And then eventually they wouldn't be happy because they would realize, oh, fuck, we're the tomatoes. Like eventually even they wouldn't be happy too.
When tomatoes are $11 a piece.
There's no positive to it at all. It's actually zero.
You like a tomato with that salad? No, I'll have the truffles instead. It's cheaper. Unbelievable. All right, Andy weighs in and is talking about the viewing options on Thanksgiving Day, and he says, and it's appropriate, that he's going to be watching the VMI Appalachian State women's basketball game with Jim Sarney
Probably wouldn't be worse
rather than watching the Cowboys and the Giants. Might be a more exciting game. I don't know, but leave it to Sarney to find it, and of course Andy to point out that would be a likely possibility. That Jim would be going, "What? You're not watching this? What are you talking about?" Unbelievable. As I keep bombarding him with pictures of female bowlers bowling strikes, Lubie, over and over again. I'll have to send you some of these videos. Some of the slickest. We were talking about this yesterday, where and you weren't a guy that had the ball just kind of stick on your thumb and graze the ceiling, like you were Tim Hardaway. You're shooting a 3-pointer back in the day.
No, I didn't have that.
Nothing. Okay.
No.
No, you know when you heave the thing and it sticks on your hand, and all of a sudden,
my lamps were horrendous.
Madison's over there and going, "If you guys don't stop this fucking nonsense, you're all out of here, and you're still gonna have to pay your tab, even though you didn't get your French fries yet." Bowling alley French fries is that still the thing?
They were great. Bowling alley French fries were always an automatic.
Yeah. Why was that?
Why, but they were
What was
just
the worst
always
thing?
maybe the
The
oil.
rest of the food could have been horrible,
Oh yeah.
but the French fries were great. Although, in general, you would have to say,
I always
among
liked bowling
sporting
alleys.
environments and or places where you're going to participate in a sport, the food at bowling alleys, I think,
I always liked it.
might have been the best of all venues. No,
It probably wasn't great quality, but it always hit the spot. So I don't know
burgers
if it was
usually pretty good.
starving. I don't know what it was, but bowling alley food was always solid.
It's great. Yeah, go out there and they would just when I was a kid, they still had like the soda vending machines, like they did in the subway, where a little cup would come down and then the ice would go in and the two syrups would collide with the seltzer, or and a lot of times the cup would come down upside down.
Oh Jesus!
That was always great. I think it was only 10 cents though for a soda, so you didn't feel too badly about losing the money in the machine. But it was definitely worse than playing a slot machine. The vending machines in the subways of New York back in the I guess this would have been late 50s, early 60s. All right, that's going to do it for us. We're out of here, Lubie. That was great. Now you guys, you and the mailman are going to be
So Japanese tapas in
okay,
Village area.
I'm a scratch on that one. Right?
Yeah, you don't need. Juan joins us the whole time, and he's a very talkative gent. So
Okay, good. That sounds good. All right, and how is that place? Good.
good. No, it's good. It's a very interesting combination where it's like literally tapas. It's like they do some sushi, they do some small bites, they do some entrees. Really good.
All right.
Really good job.
All right, have a good time there. I'll miss you guys, and then I'll see you again tomorrow. And we're going to be off on Thursday and Friday here on this show, so we won't be able to catch you until the following Monday. So if you're tuning in today and you're traveling or whatever, like I said yesterday, if you're traveling in any of the handicappers we've been using on Bury Your Bookie from last week, anyway, get on your plane, get off the flight.
No, that's what this year's been. I'm not mad at the handicappers. Ken's fantastic at it. It's just fucking.
Oh no, we know the guy's great. We've seen that over the years.
been a tough
Even in
act.
a losing season, the logic is spot on, is it not?
Yeah, the games are just fucking. It's a crazy world. Like football is very filled with parity, both college and the NFL.
Incredible. Wow, what's going on? All right, Lubie, you have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks so
Yes, sir.
much. And people, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time as we leave you on that.
The time.
It's 8:58.
Let's go to eat a damn snack.
Look what they done to my